Hello, my name is Rhona and I was in hospital when I was reminded that it was the MS UK marathon which they hold every July, but they don't only hold a running marathon, they also do a virtual marathon, which is anything with 26 in the title. Looking out of the small window I had in the hospital, I could try and get some inspiration as to what I could do, and then I saw clouds. I could learn the name of 26 clouds. It struck me as a good idea until I started doing it, and I realised that the names of the clouds had been proposed in 1802 by Luke Howard and put in print in his book of 1803, The Movement of Clouds, and they were basically in Latin. So not only was I learning the clouds, I was having to revise my Latin, which I haven't done since I was at school more than a few years ago. But I started and decided to start near the Earth. The first two I learnt, and it may sound like I'm cheating, but the first two I learnt were fog and mist. Yes, they are earthbound or close to earthbound clouds. The difference between fog and mist is how far you can see in them. If you can see no further than a kilometre, that is fog. If you can see more than a kilometre away, that's mist. So, you already knew two clouds. I then went on to three that go together, and that's the contrail short-lived, the contrail persistent with spreading, and the contrail persistent without spreading. You might know them better as vapour trails. The contrail short-lived is when the plane is going through moist air and it leaves a very short trail almost attached to the plane that glitters slightly, but as soon as the plane's gone, so is the contrail. The contrail persistent are the ones that hang around for at least 2 minutes after the plane has gone, and oft times longer. The spreading are the ones that get wider while they're there due to atmospheric pressures, or non-spreading, the ones that basically remain a straight line. Now on to the sixth one, which is nimbus. Nimbus is a dark cloud. It's fairly close to Earth and it's full of rain. Nimbus is actually Latin for rain. Then to stratus. Stratus is the one you can see that looks like it's all around the horizon, white or grey. There's normally some rain under it, somewhere around there. You then move on to stratus fractus, which is when a bit of the stratus cloud gets detached from the rest and sinks down a little bit, but still is the width of the horizon. And then you get to altostratus. Now, I'm not saying there is a choir of the clouds, that you get a soprano stratus, an altostratus, a tenor stratus, and a bass stratus. Altostratus simply means it's high. Altus is Latin for high. Stratus, I should have said, is spread, pressed. The altostratus, it's moved slightly further up by warmer air beneath it, and as it gets a bit higher it gets a bit more translucent, because the cloud is not purely water but also some ice crystals in it, so you can sometimes see, if the sun is behind it, you'll be able to make out the shape of the sun behind it. Then we move on to the cumulus. Cumulus is Latin for heap, and a cumulus cloud are those ones, the white puffy ones that you drew at school, as nice rounded arcs all the way round it, although in reality they've got the white arcs at the top, but the bottom is flatter and more shaded. And cumulus is generally known as a fair weather cloud, but you've got a number of clouds in the genus cumulus. You've got the cumulus humilis, Latin for humble, which is the one where the cloud is wider than it is high, and you'll see a number of them in the sky together, and as I say, fair weather cloud. You then get the cumulus mediocris, let's say moderate, and that is the same width as it is high, and you'll normally find those in amongst the cumulus humilis. You then get the cumulus congestus, which is much higher than it is wide, because it gets over a warm stream of air which pushes a bit of cloud up, and then it hits cooler air and it comes back down on top of the cloud, and it keeps piling it up on top of each other, hence congestus, piled up. And then you've got cumulus fractus, which is when the cumulus clouds start breaking up into small clouds. The cumulus congestus quite often means showers, and when the clouds break off, the fractus, they're normally slight rain clouds as well. Now we go up to the cirrus clouds. They're the ones at the very top. Now, it's easy to look at it as a 3D picture and imagine the top layer is the top ones and the middle layer is the middle ones, and so on. But because you're looking at the circle of the Earth, you'll be seeing some of the higher ones looking almost at the same level as some of the lower ones, but they look very different. Now the cirrus ones are wispy and they've got curls on the top. That's what cirrus means, and it is more translucent because being that much higher up, it is almost completely made of ice crystals. Coming back down, we've got the altocumulus, which are obviously the cousins of the cumulus clouds, but they're higher up. So again, they're whiter at the top than their cousins because there's more ice crystals in them. The cumulus, altocumulus, also have a number of different clouds under that genus. You get the altocumulus stratiformis, which are puffs of small clouds in straight lines all across the sky, nestling up towards each other, but still you can still see river of blue sky between them. You've then got the altocumulus lenticaris, which is a lens-shaped cloud, or sometimes looks like a spaceship. Then you've got the altocumulus castellanus, which has big towers. Follow that with the altocumulus floccus, which looks like bits ripped off of the Castellanus, and they're very much found in the same areas. You then have the Virgo, which there are times when the cumulus clouds and the autocumulus clouds rain, but the rain doesn't actually hit the earth because it hits a warmer area and it re-evaporates back up to more or less where it came from, and this carries on happening, and you end up with what look like rods sticking out of the bottom of the cloud. So that's Virgo rod. Now we're getting towards the end of my list, and I think I've saved some of the more exciting ones. The nimbostratus, which is where you get long black clouds that cover the whole sky and give plenty of rain. Then you have cirrocumulus, which is the cumulus clouds found at the height of the cirrus clouds. So they've got the white icy mounds at the top. That's normally predicting fair weather but cold. When you get to the cirrostratus, which again is your thin lines, your stratus, but up at the level of your cirrus clouds, and that's predicting within 12 hours you're likely to get rain or snow. Then you get the cumulonimbus. That builds up across all levels of the sky, right the way up through the atmosphere. Can be seen from a distance as a big tower, and that will bring thunder and lightning. And then the last one, which takes me up to 26, is one that I think we might get a bit more used to nowadays. It's the pyrocumulus. Pyro, fire. And it appears above wildfires that we've unfortunately been seeing in this hot spell of weather we've had, or over volcanoes, and they're brown, greyish in colour because the water in the cloud is mixed with the ashes and the tarry nature of the fires going up. Well, that's my 26 clouds. The money in the Just Giving page needs to be in by the end of today, the 31st. So thank you to all who have donated, and if you can share this further to help MS UK raise money for their counselling for anybody affected by multiple sclerosis. Thank you.